Hi and welcome back. We have got a super busy weekend. We are getting packed up around here. We are getting ready to head from Anaheim back to Long Beach, and we're going to close out Deanna's contract there. She's got 5 weeks left. It's a closer drive for Dee. Today we're going to head to a skate park in the area because the boys got a new skateboard and they want to try that out. Plus they have just a little something for everybody there. Tomorrow I have my long-awaited RV checkup. I've got a guy coming to do some repairs. Our list is about 10 items long, which is good because we're getting ready to hit the road. And I'm going to spend a little time with Emily. She turned 16 this year, and it's time to learn how to drive. And then I've got 2 appointments. One is for a checkup with a telemed company. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And the other is for the spiritual health of our family. We've been doing this series called the Domestic Church Project, which is basically a series of videos and content that the whole family can discuss together. And it has been phenomenal. So I am looking forward to that. And I'll share a little bit more about that later. But for now, let's get to the park. Epic family day. Skate park back there, playground right over there, basketball hoop back there for Dad, and then picnic for the family. This is going to be fun. Emily's at home having some quiet time, and the 3 middle kids are skating up there, and we're going to have a little picnic. Forward. Good job. Yeah. Apparently we've been spending a little bit too much time at skate park.
Leaving this place, the sun's about to break. You're riding shotgun.
Oh boy, big day. What's the first thing you do? All right, get it done.
Likely. Scary. And then you check your mirror. I can't see anything. But I don't have my glasses.
Next. How's the mirrors look?
I see Isaac's trying to get run over. Whoop. I have access to all of the doors here. Okay. Then put your foot on the brake. Oh, it's so heavy.
Okay. Once your foot's on the brake, put it in drive. Good job. Now let off the brake slowly. And you won't be able to... Right away. You can turn it right away. You won't be able to get over that bump without some gas. So just hit a very small amount of gas. So learn to do more gradual on both accelerator and brake.
How do you know when to stop turning? You stay in the right lane all the time?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Linda.
Okay. Watch out, my daughter's driving. Which circular thingy? Which dial is the miles per hour?
Middle one. You won't have to worry about your speed for a long time because you don't. You're not going to be going very fast. So you get your confidence up. Stay inside for 1 second, okay? As sharp as you can on your wheel. There you go. Nice and slow. You did great. Good job. You graduated.
I'm just gonna drive.
So I just finished my telemed appointment with My Catholic Doctor, and I didn't record the session. I don't really have any juicy health issues, so it was kind of a boring checkup, but I just wanted to show you how the website is set up because this is super helpful for RV travel. And with RV Life, if you ever need a Zoom appointment or an online conference with a doctor or another professional, your office becomes your car. Most of the time, I can't expect 5 kids to be quiet enough for an appointment like this, but My Catholic Doctor is amazing. You might remember we covered them once before when we were in New Hampshire. Basically, my last checkup. But how cool for travelers to have access to advice, prescriptions, or checkups anywhere in the country. Pretty amazing. You don't have to be Catholic to use My Catholic Doctor. It just means that their medical practice is virtue-based. So it's all rooted in ethics, which is pretty cool. So check this out. You can get seen right away. That was pretty key. I was amazed the last 2 times for my checkups how fast I was in touch with a doctor and how they opened their calendar to meet our needs. I don't have any prescriptions currently, but if you do, basically it's a national network and they get a hold of physicians in your area that have privileges in that state, and they can call them into wherever you need based on your insurance coverage. So for my checkup, I did have some labs to draw, so they just asked me where I wanted to go and sent the order there, and then the lab sends it to the doc, and then they correspond back with us to let us know, hey, you checked out okay. But look at all these services that they offer. Sometimes when you're on the road, you're not sure if something's wrong, so medical advice, weight management, we all need help with that. These are things sometimes just to call a professional and get insight on what might be going on keeps you out of the doctor's office or the hospital. All the payments are done right through the site, and I was shocked at how cheap it was. I think my payment was $55 for my appointments, and I didn't even submit it to any kind of insurance. Overall, I was very impressed with the interface and the appointment, and would highly recommend My Catholic Doctor. My RV repair guy is going to be here shortly, and I want to go over the 10 items I'm hoping he can address today with you real quick. So I've got a list right here. So the first one is this cap cover here for the wall slide has come unglued. The next 2 are right here. This light cover likes to come off, and we can snap it back in place, but it doesn't want to stay. And then these speakers are part of a Bluetooth system that doesn't seem to want to pair, and then we can't play our music or movies on the sound system. I recently installed some Battle-Born lithium-ion batteries on the coach. That's a pretty awesome upgrade, but ever since then, the batteries have been slowly trickling down, and the items on the coach which require battery power don't always have the power that they need to operate properly. So let me show you our inverter panel just inside the door here. This little panel is the readout for the Xantrex inverter that comes with the coach. Right now this is reading properly, but this number likes to trickle down, and then the things that need battery power don't work right. One of the things that's given us trouble since we took delivery on this coach in July is this bed does not like to go up and down properly. It has something to do with the teeth or the track. So right now we kind of have to help it, and I'm hoping this will be an easy warranty repair. The next item on the list is right here. We just had this replaced, but now the little spinny thing under here doesn't want to engage. And so it still cooks, but it doesn't want to rotate the food. This little coffee table in front is great, but when we spin it, the pole rotates at the bottom and just falls right out. The next one on our list is our awning cap. Now I think this flew off on the trip across country. We ordered the rig from Chicago and flew to St. Louis to pick it up. And it's that cap right there that's missing. The next item is a tow and braking system, because we need to be able to tow the van behind the motorhome. Right now I've got my bike rack on here, so I've got to figure out a way to be able to tow the van but also store the bikes. Next item up is this little light strip. It's falling down. I'm hoping there's a more secure way to prevent that from falling down. Last up is my freshwater tank seems to be leaking. So I filled it full yesterday. It was up to 100 gallons, and now it's almost down to 75. And when I look under the rig, I don't have a puddle immediately under the fresh water. So I'm looking forward to solving this mystery. Well, he just left and I didn't shoot any video while he was here, but I was really impressed. He addressed all 10 things, and I'm pretty sure after we order parts, all 10 items will be fixed. Maybe not the Bluetooth, but I'll get to that. Let me show you. First off, I learned that the electrical issues weren't issues at all. The reason this was trickling down is because this is the battery kill switch. And even though it's always illuminated, it can be engaged. So if I push this right now, that will unhook the battery, but with Thor, it's a strange thing. This light stays lit. So this indicator light is saying that the rig has power. It's not communicating whether the battery is disengaged. If you unhook the battery from the source of recharging, which is the converter in the back of the coach, this will begin to trickle down because it won't be getting recharged from the converter. So everything on my coach that relies on battery power was acting funny because the batteries were showing low voltage. I couldn't even get the jacks down. But now I know to make sure that that little switch is in the correct position so the battery's always getting recharged and then the systems on the coach have adequate power. So I learned that if you tighten this black cap after you lock the table into place, you have to, it's kind of counterintuitive. You have to tighten the cap. Normally it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but this is the opposite of that. So we tighten it this way so that the cap grabs the base plate, and then this, when we turn the table now, watch, it won't turn the base and knock it out of place. He was able to order parts for the over the cab drop-down bunk and the awning cap. And I learned that the fresh water leak wasn't what I was thinking. It's actually a strainer on this side of the coach in the wet bay. That little gray plastic thing right there is called a strainer. And that attaches the fresh water supply over here to the tank on the other side. And it was just a little bit loose, causing it to drip down right here. I also picked up a bonus tip. Now I'm 6'10", 235 pounds. He noticed I'm a bigger guy. When I step on the steps, it puts quite the strain on the whole staircase. And it's actually coming loose right here because as I step on the step, it pulls this entire assembly down. So he recommended we put our exercise step under there to take the weight off when I step up. He got the slide cap back on. I can't even see the nail holes or the putty. He had all the right tools. I also learned that this cap on the light, that kept falling off because the teeth that grab it on the other side had become bent and weren't grabbing it correctly. So every time we'd go over a bump, it would fall down. The only bad news is our sound system doesn't like to pair with Apple devices. So that's a little Thor fix. As is the case with most appliances, we have to order the whole new microwave, but it is covered. This thing's only a couple months old, but here comes another one. And lastly, this little light strip had a adhesive back on it that hadn't been peeled. And so he peeled the adhesive back and slid it into the little track, and now it's fixed. We realize a lot of these fixes were user error. That's usually the case with motorhome and RV living, but you need the help. And for us, a mobile technician is key. And I'll drop his name and number in here, but he was excellent. Matt used to work for an RV dealership here in Southern California, and he was their high turnover technician to make sure every little thing was perfect before it left the service bay. And so we were blessed to get that guy today. So parts are ordered and some of the repairs will have to be done next week after they arrive, but it looks like everything's going to be done before we hit the road. So very thankful. Well, it's almost dinner time. We are excited to play our domestic church project video. This is a program that Dee and I have been taking the kids through now for about a month, and includes informative stuff for parents, for them to help learn and grow in their Christian faith and become better parents, but also just great videos for the whole family to listen to. And I, for one, am glad to have other adults saying the same things. Like, we all want to raise good kids, right? but we need some help sometimes, and it's nice for the kids to hear it coming from someone else in that universal language. So the program consists of a video that we all listen to, followed usually by some sort of activity, and then something to be mindful of for that day or that week. This has been a huge blessing on RV life, because built into it is so much simplicity and sacrifice that can be super meaningful if you allow it to be.
Holy Spirit, bless our family and our conversation as we strive to live always in your love. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for joining us this week. Come back and check it out next week. Maybe by then we're going to know where we are heading. The adventure continues. Bye.
I'm just gonna drive.
Are you guys ready to go to the next RV park?
Yeah. With lots of trees.